This is your focus leader. Adjust the focus until the picture is sharp. Now adjust the sound to a normal volume.
Hey everyone, welcome to Project Porsche, where I fix up and modify my 924S. So I'm in the middle of, there she be, adding power door locks and keyless entry to this car, and now it's time for me to run the wires underneath the dash and into each door. This goes in like that. And this portion is gonna go, starting here, it's gonna bend up through there. Through here. I'm gonna go through here. I'm gonna go through there. Then I'll go through here. And run alongside the bottom. And then to like this, basically. This is gonna be covered with loom, and this I'm just gonna tuck up somewhere for now. I think I might just end up wrapping this stuff with Tessa tape. Since I went through all this work, I decided to add that extra wire. Now I have to run these wires under the dash and into the firewall. So it's gonna go up underneath the dash, run across to the hole / rubber grommet that's gonna be over there in the firewall. You can see I just took some of that friction tape and I taped a wire tie on the end of here as my fishing line or whatever you want to call it. The only thing I would do differently is I would have used a white one because the black one is kind of hard to see. So a white one or a brighter color. And then I just went and I taped together the 2 power wires and then the passenger side door lock wires with that 3M friction tape. I'm gonna be taking this dash out because I'm gonna be redoing it. Actually, I have another dash. Basically, it's in exactly the same shape. I just picked it up from the junkyard because that way I'll be able to redo that one and still leave a dash in the car. And then when I'm finally done modifying and fixing the other dash up, then I can just swap it out. So I need to make sure I don't run these wires through any part of the dash that would make it so I can't remove it. I picked kind of the spot where the factory wires go, so I'm going up through there, kind of where the factory loom goes, and then gonna go down through here, and here's the wire that I'm using. I'm going up behind that, the heater duct there. I don't want to go on this side because then you're crossing over the heater thing. On the other side, you can see I'm going again behind this thing right here. This rod is actually the heater thing, so I don't want to get the wire caught in that, so that's why I threaded this behind there. So I'm gonna go through here, then up. I'm gonna go up behind here, and then let's see, where's that? The hole where I'm gonna use the grommet to go through for my hot power wires is right there. So I ran my wire behind there and went back and forth, pulled it through. Now I'm gonna separate these two. So now I'm gonna take these apart and feed the power wires through the firewall, and then the other one will go through the door. Gonna feed this through here, and then this thing is gonna go through there. So I taped up the ends of these 2 wires so that they would slide through the grommet and go through the hole in the firewall easier. So, oh, look at that. Oh, it's perfect. I think I can get it. You can do it! Booyah! Oh, that's like perfect. Those 2 power wires with the loom are about the same size as a regular cord that would be on a power drill, so it worked out pretty good. It might be a little too big. That grommet was a little bit bigger than I hoped it would be. I don't know, it feels dang close. But it worked out good. It will do its job protecting the wires. I pull it out a little bit, and I decided to cover that loom with even some more protection, so I wrapped some of that friction tape around there. Just because it was going to be up against the metal, and I didn't want to have any problems with chafing. That looks pretty good. I think we've done it. Oh yeah. Booyah. Perfect. You can see it. Since it was up against the metal, I wrapped some tape around it there. There it is, going through the grommet. All right, so back over to the driver's side. I undid that rubber boot, and The wires had a lot of sticky old tape that was just basically falling off. So I decided to remove that tape. I cleaned up the wires with some electrical cleaner, and then I rewrapped those wires with the friction tape. The speaker wires was loose also, so I decided to unravel that and then recover those wires. But when I did, I found out that the wiring for the speakers was cracked in a bunch of different little places where it bends going through that rubber boot. Although I didn't see any cracks in these ones, but where the speaker wires are going through the door, they're all cracked. So I'm gonna end up replacing these two wires, feed these through. But before I did that, I finished feeding the power door lock wires through the door. This speaker wire, I think, came with some speakers that I bought. And so the factory Porsche wires look like this. One big, one small. Basically the same as the ends that are already on here. So I'm just gonna cut off the length of wire that I need, and then I'm gonna end up soldering it in, I think, like right here. And I'm hoping that even though this stuff is probably brittle, it wasn't being constantly bent going through the door. So I think that should work all right. I'm gonna cut this to the length that I need, and then I'm gonna solder it in. This reminds me of the wires that I had to fix on the headlight mechanism, because I suppose that headlight mechanism was constantly going up and down too, and so they're like stress fractures in the urethane or whatever it is. And the only thing is, I don't know what gauge these are, but they look comparable, so they're just gonna have to be good enough. Alright, so I snipped off those wires and cleaned up the little bit of corrosion that was on there still with a Scotch-Brite pad. And then I just went ahead and soldered the new wires in. The Porsche wire was a pretty heavy diameter gauge wire, which was larger than these wires that I used, but I decided just to use this, even though it went down to a smaller diameter. Here you can see I just covered up with some heat shrink and covered it up with loom when I was done. Seal the end up nice, taped up the end so I could feed them through that boot, and then eventually I put that back through the door with the other wires. And voila! There's a shot of the wires before I snap that rubber boot back into its place. And then, time to test it out. Dun dun dun! The moment of truth. Ooh, works! Yay! Alright, so now I'm moving on to the passenger side. This fiberglass insulation material is glued to the metal in the kick panel. So I just separated that insulation, and then here I'm pulling my wiring through. At this point I've separated the power wires and door lock solenoid wires. And then I'm just gonna go in here behind here. Maybe I should put some new tape around these wires. While I'm in here, I'm gonna just clean up these wires and rewrap them with some new tape. So and you can see I just kind of retaped and went up to where the factory tape wasn't falling off again. I ended up covering this with some plastic protection just for the heck of it, and then I'm running it through that boot. I don't know if I'm liking this. You know what? I'm not gonna run this plastic all the way inside like that. So there they are. The wires are officially ran into the doors. Next time I'll be hooking up the hot power wires, hooking up the solenoids, and getting the doors put back together. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Any help I can get growing my channel, I really appreciate. So
this is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.